Hello. The reason why evil is bad is because it's illogical and wrong. Truth is always good. It's always good to know the truth. Evil is when the truth is confused. So for example, believing that leaders who are narcissistic and money-minded and promise, politicians, the bankers, promise stuff, don't follow through, or promise to, in 1913, the Federal Reserve, the Rothschilds promised that all the economic problems will disappear when the central bank takes over. Then we got the crash of 29 and, you know, the middle class disappearing and all the bloodshed in the 20th century. They're liars, and believing them is illogical. And also, a more fundamental error is believing that someone who doesn't have your best interest at heart will operate and act in your best interest. That is the biggest flaw in reasoning, and that is why we're suffering. Suffering is not inherent in humanity. We don't need to suffer. Jordan Peterson is wrong that life is not about suffering, and suffering results only from not thinking straight and not having God in your life, not having your being connected to your soul and understanding that, you know, we're all connected, and if someone doesn't feel connected, then they will see you as different and, you know, do whatever they want to you with not in your best interest. So believing, let's say, that the drug prohibitions are all righteous and it's for our good is the same error. As long as they don't prove themselves, as long as these leaders, the bankers, the corporations, the politicians, as long as they don't prove themselves that they operate in our best interest and they need us to like vote them in and out and promise and don't follow their promises, you can't take any of their things at face value, any of their promises, any of their beliefs or, you know, ideas at face value. You always have to ask what's in it for them. They're selfish, and, you know, everyone is selfish, but the question is, what are you going to do for yourself at the expense of someone else? See, selfishness is not a problem if you operate in a win-win situation where you're selfish but you're also caring for others. It's not a contradiction. Narcissists and people who are unconscious think that the only way to gain something is by someone else losing, like a zero-sum game, but it's not true. The problems we suffer today is based on because we have leaders who are unconscious and narcissistic, and they don't operate in our best interest. And drugs is a perfect example. They basically, in 1914, they used opiates to create a precedent in the United States Constitution. It's unconstitutional to ban a substance. It's not everyone has the freedom of choice. But they used the opiate crisis in 1914 to create a precedent to ban drugs based on, the dangers. Now they actually use their corporations to market and to use opiates, but they ban other drugs that would have never been banned in the first place. But it's just because they banned opiates because it was actually dangerous and people were dying and people were addicted. So now all this stuff that Mother Nature provides, psychedelics, the healthy shit, they are banning because they created a precedence of opiates that they're now actually causing massive addictions and deaths from it legally. But all the natural substances like mushrooms, ayahuasca, peyote are now banned because of that one. This is illogical, and this works with the Talmudic reasoning of these Rothschilds, where that's why the Talmudic reasoning is contradictory, always results in a contradiction, because if the things are not based on principles and they're based on loopholes, you'll always end up in a contradiction. So everything that we suffer from and everything bad in the world is because it's not being thought out principally, where there is no contradiction throughout. And so drugs has to be legal, especially drugs that are not harmful. That for sure has to be legal. The second you know it's not harmful, it must be legalized immediately, and everyone who's sitting in jail or suffering from it must be released ASAP. And these criminal bankers must be enslaved to us and gotten out of power.